Where are we, Dave?
Well, I don't know, mate.
Hey mate, any idea where we are?
Yeah, this is Curry. Not much Cooperpedy, not much Broome, that's Kundawindi.
Sounds like you've been everywhere, mate.
Yeah, I've been everywhere, man. Walked the desert sands, man. Trouble at Marche, man. I've been everywhere. Woo!
In this great country of ours, red-headed people are called blue.
Oi, Louie!
We go to the races and some punters have more luck betting on a horse because they like the sound of its name, not by following its form. Go, Captain Chieftain, go, boy, go. And then you have parents. How many of us have been through the dramas of what to call our children? I like Susan. No, I like Gertrude. What about Cynthia or Fiona? And then the baby comes out a boy. You reckon that can cause headaches? Well, just imagine being responsible for geographical naming all over Australia. How did Woolloomooloo in Sydney get its name? Richmond in Melbourne, Subiaco in Perth, Canberra, Tingalpa, Albury, Broome, Darwin, Alice Springs? And what about a little place in the Eyre Peninsula in South Australia called Nowhere Else? Imagine that. You're sitting at home with the family, wondering what to do on the weekend. One kid complains there's nothing to do. But another one says, hang on a minute, I've got an idea. There's nowhere else to go. Confused? Well, thank goodness we've got people all around Australia who can tell us about all the wonderful names we have down under. Now, unlike most of us who've got a swing or a sandpit or a tomato vine in the backyard, these blokes are involved in the creation and preservation of names for the whole country. Crikey. I reckon these blokes got a bigger job than a city street sweeper on New Year's Day. Let's have a look. Down under, there are more than 250,000 names recorded. They may be rivers, mountains, plains, towns, cities, and much more. From Botany Bay, where Captain Cook first found his feet in 1770, to Ayers Rock, Uluru, the heartbeat of life and spirit for so many Aborigines, every name in some big or small way leaves its mark on history, the culture, and the people of this land. Some names have obvious national and international importance, such as Sydney. How can we forget the 2000 Olympic Games when Australia's biggest city was the capital of the world? There are also countless names and places that are known by only small handfuls of people, but are very important to the local communities. And none more significant than those of Aboriginal origin that stretch back thousands and thousands of years. They may refer to land features such as the mighty rock, or they may honour historical events, people, or animals. These are the founding stones of place names in Australia that were laid long before white settlement had begun. As a result, they represent a critical part of our society today. It's through these that we claim a long-standing and ongoing relationship with our land and also continue priceless Indigenous traditions.
The Aboriginals, of course, were in this continent for thousands and thousands of years. They had their names fixed. They had their bays, they knew what they called that bay, what cape, what river, the plants, the flowers, the people, the bees. So they were quite happy with their naming system. But along came the early marine explorers, the French, the Dutch, the Portuguese, and they put the names around the coastlines. Along came the English, Cook and Flinders, filling in the rest of the circuit around Australia, giving English names to things. Land explorers came through, giving names to features, rivers, mountains, that sort of thing. Tablelands, named them after their benefactors, the people that were paying for their expedition. And then the formal settlement of Australia, the pastoral development, the agricultural development came along, and the surveyors came along. And that's, of course, when things really got official. The surveyor generals would instruct the surveyors to ascertain from the Aboriginals the correct name. So the Aboriginals actually didn't get their names placed on the map till the surveyors came along. Surveyors went out and ascertained the names from the Aboriginals of these features and put them on their plans.
There are just so many names, ancient and modern. Gunnedah, Aboriginal for place of white stone. And where we are right now, Mount Cootha, place of wild honey. And what of non-Aboriginal names such as Port Douglas, a gateway to the Great Barrier Reef. But once something has a name, how does it become known officially? Each year, committees and naming boards in every state receive thousands of applications and, depending on the cause, grant them official status. Think about it. Thousands of places with thousands of names all over Australia. So who provides the coordinating role for place naming activity in Australia? The Committee of Geographical Names of Australasia. The CGNA for short was established in 1984 to keep the naming processes similar in each state. It operates under the Intergovernmental Committee of Surveying and Mapping. They may sound a mouthful, but it is their responsibility to ensure that our mouths will never be unfamiliar with Indooroopilly, Moorabbin, or any other place name that roll mystically and magically across our tongues and through our culture. The states and territories, using guidelines established with the assistance of the CGNA, determine these applications. The CGNA then lifts a profile and understanding of these names by including them in the Gazetteer of Australia. This information is used by a vast cross-section of organisations and individuals, from government departments to historians, cartographers to publishers. Even the search and rescue groups use the Gazetteer as a valuable resource. As time moves on, the CGNA aims to lift the public's awareness by developing an educational program that will give us all a better understanding of the historical, social and cultural significance of names. They are involved in our everyday lives, yet how many of us stop to think about it? History tells us how important the roles of names have been and how important it is that we acknowledge them in the future. As a result, the CGNA is on a rescue mission to stop some names being lost forever. Most of these are of Aboriginal origin that over the years have been victims of misinformation and mispronunciation. Nowadays, 2/3 of the Aboriginal languages and dialects have either died or are slowly fading away. In 1992, the CGNA implemented guidelines for the recording and use of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander names. State and territories are also developing policies on dual names, giving preference to Aboriginal origins where possible. Although the state and naming authorities are in charge of naming processes, it's important to realise that the public is a vital contributor. Any of us can suggest new names, and we can also offer historical insights into old ones. Nearly every one of us has family stories that have been passed down through the generations. How did the Great Barrier Reef get its name? Or King Island, the Kimberley in WA, or the Victorian city of Bendigo. Every name across Australia has a fascinating origin and stories to go with it. It's our job to ensure these are never forgotten. The CGNA encourages our input. So there you have it. The next time you're asked what's in a name, you'll be able to say, where do I start? Now the people at CGNA, now don't forget, that stands for the Committee of Geographical Names of Australasia. You see, they have a very big job, and they're part of a very big and very good team. They're helped by each state and territory, and of course, you and me. Now, if you reckon you can help in any way, don't be frightened to pick up the phone and have a chat, or email someone at the CGNA, or any of the naming boards or committees around the country. Mountains, rivers, towns, cities, beaches, plains are all calling out for your help. It's time for you to leave your mark for generations to come. I'm Ernie Dingo. What's your name? See you later.
Beats walking.
Yeah.